Here. So this session is now being recorded. By continuing in the meeting, you're consenting to be recorded. Just keep in mind that this recording could be shared on one of our university-facing or public-facing websites. So keep that in mind as you're interacting with each other and in the chat tonight. I want to start by welcoming everyone to tonight's webinar hosted by Dr. Katia Araujo, an adjunct professor of psychology in the criminal justice program here at Purdue Global. Dr. Araujo is here to help us better manage our time and stop distortive thinking patterns that tell us we can't fuse our busy adult lives together with our college coursework, right? But we can do it. So I'm looking forward to learning more about the ways that time management can help to improve my academic performance as well as my health and wellness. So without any further ado, I'll turn it over to her now.
Thank you so much, Melinda. Just one little thing. I've worked with the cohort with criminal justice for many years, 12, 13 years, but I just recently moved into the graduate program of psychology. And so right now, this is the cohort that I am working for within the family of Purdue. Just a little tiny bit thank here, but that's okay. We're the same family. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Letitia, Joanne, Barbara, Abby, Daniel, that I can see it. I am a cognitive behavioral therapist. Hi, Xian. How are you? So I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist besides being a professor of psychology. And I've been teaching for a while now. And I've noticed that many students, when it gets into a point that things get difficult, the easiest way out, and I totally understand that there are realistic reasons why many students will drop a class, for example, or the performance starts declining. And I usually start feeling as classes start, as more work start popping up, the performance of some students start declining, and some students will end up dropping the class because they cannot keep up with everything. So I'm going to talk to you guys today this situation, but from a cognitive behavioral perspective, what affect our cognitions in order that we'll do the behavior of either give up on that assignment or, I'll just submit it late. There is no problem that I'm going to lose points or drop in the class per se. I'm going to ask Melinda to start, moving on with the slides. Okay, thank you so much. So what I'm going to talk a little, and questions are welcome at any time, okay? I like to, as I talk, I can respond to questions. And we're going to be talking about more the cognitive behavior theories that can explain what goes on with us. Myself, I've been a student. Melinda was a student already. So we probably all have been in the situation that I'll be presenting here. I'm going to talk a little bit about, the benefits and pitfalls of academic stress, which is a real factor. The stress is a factor also to drop or not performing well. And we're going to talk a little bit about strategies that can help us to, just kick that first step. A lot of students will be able to do this on their own. A lot may need the help of a CBT, a cognitive behavioral therapist, to help them to move on, with their academic, avenue, so to speak. By the way, I'm from Brazil. I have an accent. If you don't understand, go ahead and just ask. I have no problem when I'm not being understood by students. It's been going on for a while. So let's start the game. Melinda, thank you. Guys, have you ever heard about cognitive behavior theory? Anybody here in psychology major? No? Okay. Abby, anybody? Okay, no problem. I'm here to give you that hint. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I know I'm dealing with students from different areas here, and but the actual presentation and what I'm informing you here will definitely help in your area. Oh, that's good. Clinical hypnotherapist. Okay, Susan, that's excellent. Okay, let me talk about cognitive behavior theory. So, there are different theories, but it all come from this guy coming, named Beck. And what cognitive behavior theory, focus on is thoughts, emotions, our body sensations, and that behavior connected with all that. So if you can move one slide, Belinda, please. Okay, CBT is fundamentally about meaning. What is that? It's how we perceive what is being told to us, how we perceive the world around us, and how we perceive our experience. So the way we think is going to result in the way that we feel and automatically in the way that we behave. If you understand. Are we on the same page here so far, guys? Great, excellent. Melinda, please. Academic stress. Anybody here never had academic stress? Anybody here go smooth with school? Yes, yes, good, Sean. That's very good. Tell us. Okay, stress. Okay, my second name sometimes. So much to do, so very little hours, so very few hours that we don't have, mainly as adult students, right? So academic stress is that weird feeling, that, unpleasant and negative emotion that we get when we start getting frustrated about not having time to, do homework, for example. I'm sure that the great majority of you work, have a life, have families, have children. So mainly when we're dealing with adult population of studies, it's not uncommon if we do not manage our time correctly. We end up very stressed out when we have to do our, academic chores, right? So, academic stress, thank you. Academic stress has been one of the primary reasons why, students don't finish up their learning, their school, their program. Okay, according to Lee and Larson, this is a study that when you are in psychology, we go ahead and talk a lot about studies. We depend on those data in order to inform students, in order to treat patients. Okay, academic stress is explained by an interaction between the environment, okay, stressors that we get on our daily lives. If we are a student, the student's appraisal and reaction of that specific stressors. So let's use that as an example. I have a paper that is due. It's a 16 page paper that is due on Wednesday, but I also have other things going on in my life is not compatible with my time to, finish up this paper on time. So these factors can create distress. Why do I call academic? Because it's related to my performance in academic, if you understand what I'm saying. So every single stressor that can affect your performance in school, we will be calling that academic stress. Is this a diagnosis, Professor? No, it is not a diagnosis. This is common sense. And all the literature show that these are factors that interfere with my performance as a student, as sometimes can interfere with my performance as a professor if I am teaching different classes and I have a lot to do and all my life around my academic life, if you understand. Okay? Whoops. Hold on. Move on. One more. Okay. Certain levels of stress pushes students towards optimum performance. Have you guys ever heard about two different types of personality? Type A and type B? Anybody here knows? Okay. Anybody here is a type A? Type B, Abby? Okay, I'm a type C. Type A, Joanne. Okay, type A, Carol. Type A, okay. Anybody else? So, you guys, and you tell me if I'm not correct. So, stress is good for you, right? You can perform under stress, right? No, I'm just kidding, Abby. Just kidding. I'm a B plus, yes, I'm a B plus. So stress for you guys who are type A personality is a good thing, right? Tell me yes or no, please. Yes, so you can perform under stress. Excellent, excellent. Not all of us are like that. Those of us with a B personality type, stress can be something negative, and instead of motivating us to perform, it can keep us from performing. Okay, so some types of personality, will benefit from certain types of stressors, not all, certain types of stressors. But the great majority of us who apparently have a B type of personality, that is not a good thing. And that can get us lost a little bit while, working on our academic life. Okay? What, Tiffany? The personality types? Okay, the A type is that person who works, who are able to accomplish when stressed out. Oh my God, I have to turn that paper tomorrow. So they sit in the middle of the night and they write a wonderful paper because they're moved on that high of completing at the time. So they are all over the place, and the stress, instead of keeping these individuals from performing, the stressors help these individuals to perform. And a lot of them do very well. But again, it's a trait, it's a type of personality. You don't learn to be a type A or a type B personality. It's a trait that you have. Perfectionist, it's not. No, it's not. Who asked that to me? Joanne? No, a type A personality is not a perfectionist. It's someone who is able to work under stress. Okay, myself, being a student for 10 years before I got my degree. So in order to perform well with English as a second language, well, paper was supposed to be due within a month. First thing I would do is just go home and start working on my paper, because if I wait until 2 days before working on that specific paper, I know I'm not going to do well. So I am a type B personality. Some people will sit there and write the paper one night before the paper is due. And these people, these individuals, this is what I call a type A personality. They're very well able to work under, stressors. They can work under stress. However, a tremendous of emotional stress can inhibit. Oh, yes, I agree with that. Is it, how do I say that? Jigjet? Am I right? Jigjet? No? Okay. Can I say G? This is my accent again. Okay, thank you, G. So, well, if you are emotionally distressed, so stress is not helping you out doing things. Okay? Did I answer your question? I can work under stress. However, a tremendous of emotional stress can inhibit most of motivation. Yes, but those who are a tremendous amount of stress is called distress. That can inhibit, yes. Okay? But if you have a type A personality, you are not going to be as affected by it if you're a type B. I'm going to have to move on. Otherwise, we won't have time to finish this presentation. But I think I gave you just a little picture of what, personality type A and personality type B is. Okay? Are we all clear about that? Awesome. Very good. Thank you, guys. So understanding the sources and impact of academic stress can be important, guys, because now when you understand where it comes from, you can find alternatives. You can, draw avenues to work on that so you can do better. Okay? You can be able to better manage your time, and which I feel one of the biggest issues that we have as students is managing time correctly. So when we find, the sources that impact that stress, we can open our eyes for, alternatives to work. Melinda? Let's talk about CBT again. So what is CBT? Thoughts create feelings. Feelings create behaviors. And behaviors reinforce thoughts. So this is pretty much the triangle of thinking regarding what the theory about cognitive and behavioral therapy is all about. So every time you are talking about cognitive behavioral theory, or if you hear about cognitive behavior therapy, this is what we're going to do. We are going to try to realistically change your thinking patterns, work in what we call your schemas, learned thinking patterns that you have through your experience in life since little, okay? And by thinking, by changing, by shifting that thinking pattern, you will be shifting your behavior. And sometimes when you shift your behavior, you also reinforce the new thinking pattern. You got it, guys? It's very simple. It's this triangle here. This is what us therapists do in order to help patients from a cognitive behavioral perspective. Okay, the energy bus to control the levels of energy to show the right behavior. Great, Daniel. That's a great assumption there. Excellent. So let's talk about cognitive distortion. What do you guys understand about distortions? In general. Not normal? Distorted? Yes. Static? Yes. Wrong beliefs? That's a good one, Joanne. Okay. Distorting? Correct. All right. So cognitive distortions are distortions with our cognition, with our thinking pattern. So we don't understand the meaning the way the meaning really is. We understand it differently. So cognitive distortions are wrong or rationalized attitudes towards opinions and beliefs in their own or other social behavior. Beck, who is the father of cognitive behavioral therapists, he states that many emotional disorders that we have, mainly depression, anxiety, panic attacks, panic disorder, a lot of disorder related coming from the anxiety family of disorders or mood disorders, not including bipolar disorder, because the more clinical, more chemical, dysfunctional type of disorder can have a root, okay, from the negative thoughts about ourselves, the surrounding, and the future. So this is the main, theory about, cognitive behavioral theory. So the way we see others, the way we see our environment, and the way we see the future, depending on our experience in life, can be distorted. Melinda? Twisting. It's not confusion, G. It's more about distorted, wrong. wrong thoughts. Okay, confusion is different. There is a doubt in confusion. When we're talking about distortion, it's more like a wrong type of thinking. Okay, so how cognitive distortions directly affect academic performance? This is how we're going to talk about it, what we're going to talk about in terms for you guys to understand and maybe find new avenues to yourself. Belinda? Okay, so according to the guys from, the School of Cognitive Behavioral Therapy and theories, these are a form of the distortions. So, and let's try to use them according to school, okay? Relating to your performance, to your academic performance. All or nothing thinking. So you think things in absolute is either, well, oh my God, that paper is going to be due on Wednesday. I have to take Peter and Paul to school. My time is going to be totally blocked on Monday evening. I'm not able to make that paper for Wednesday. That's how it functions. So it's either you can or you're not. It's always like, is it black and white, so to speak, which I think they call no, they don't talk about dichotomy here. This is what it is, dichotomy. It's either or, oh, you can do it, or I can't make it. I won't be able to find the reference. I get students who they read their assignment. They read the directions for the assignment. A lot of times, the directions is giving. Actually, this is a good example I can provide it today. This is from a class that I was teaching. It was reading on the direction of the assignment. Go online and find a link discussing about how relevant your profession can be for you. It was written in there. And the student will read the directions in general. And when you see that she needs or he needs to go find something on her own, her first thinking is like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Oh, I don't know. Professor, I don't know how to do this. How do I do this? It is written in there. So the student is unable to go step by step and follow the direction. It's an automatic thinking about, I am not able to, complete this assignment. Overgeneralization. You look at a negative event as a never-ending pattern of defeat. So, yeah, kind of like that, Susan. Kind of. Aren't humans the only animals that can experience emotion from only a thought? Yeah. Well, Susan, I couldn't answer that because I don't believe in that myself. According to data, there are still conflicting information about it. Only humans can do that. Only humans think. Well, yeah, we do have something that's called the frontal, the new brain, okay, which is the frontal lobe here, that allow us to think. Animals work out of instinct more than thinking. Animals don't think. Connecting emotion with thinking, yes, humans are the only one who can connect emotion with thinking. Okay, but these are studies that, are going on all the time. And today I answer yes. I don't know how it's going to be the answer tomorrow. Did I answer your question, Susan? Okay, thank you so much. So overgeneralization. Okay, there is this assignment due on Wednesday. Oh my God, the assignment is so difficult. I'm not going to find any literature resource for that assignment. I don't know if I'm able to differentiate what is a peer-related literature resource from just an internet resource. So the person starts overgeneralizing one specific situation without, again, going step by step cognitively about that specific situation. So things started getting, difficult. things start getting difficult. That is the problem. The difficulty is always in front of the student cognitions when there is something related to, their completion of things. Despite always taking in consideration that, yes, we do have real factors affecting our performance, but the way we think increase when these factors are negative. Okay? So I'm not going to go over. I don't think we have time. I'm a big talker on my seminars, guys. I would go 2 hours. But since we have an hour, right, Melinda? Is it an hour that we have? Okay, I'm going to just go over fast the names, and then we move to the next slide and get a bit more specific. Mental filter. So you are unable to see the whole picture. You filter what you want to filter about that specific, information. Okay, discontinuing the positive. That is that person who walks around with that huge, heavy black cloud on the top of his or her head, creating obstacles to complete whatever he has to complete in life. And since we are talking about academia, we're talking about completing what there is his or her responsibilities, with school. Okay. Jumping into conclusion. I can use the same example. Oh, I don't know that. I don't know if I'm going to do it. So you know what? Forget about it. I'm just going, I'll drop the class. It's easy. I'll take it next time. I have more time next time. Mind reading, fortune telling, magnification or minimization. What our friend Freud would call denial, when you minimize things, right? Or you magnify the problem. I don't know if I'm able to complete this assignment because I don't know if this class was for me. I'm taking this class, but I kind of don't identify with the class. If I don't identify with the class, I don't think I'm able to finish this up. I'm not finishing this class. Okay. Emotional reasoning, should statements. This is very important. We want to talk a little bit about it later. Labeling, personalization, and blame. So these are all forms of distorted thoughts. But how do I know I am doing it? How do I know I'm having these distortions? Now that we are talking about it, you probably will be a little more aware when you are having this type of distortions. A lot of people don't know. You have it, but you don't know that you're having it. It's very fast. But now you are aware of that. In terms of college students, magical thinking, magnification and minimization, individual comparison. Myself, I remember when I started graduate school. No, I'm book okay, but I am more street smart than book smart. I'm good in doing things I learn by experiencing. And when you go into a graduate program, everybody there is a 4.0 GPA. I was not a 4.0 GPA. So that comparison on my first 2 years that you really have to perform academically, you needed to take your tests, you needed to, present a lot of times. So all this book learning for me was very difficult. And I used to compare myself a lot with those who were 4.0 GPA. Maybe something that is cultural, because in this country there is a lot in this culture, which is an individual, type of culture, individualistic type of culture. It's natural that we want to do better, that we want to, show there that we can do things. Me coming from a collectivistic culture and dealing with that was a pressure. That comparison was real bad for me on my first 2 years of graduate program, which created some problems. So right there, distorted thinking as a student, emotional reasoning as well, it was, and perfectionism. Okay, there is no perfect paper, there is no perfect students. Those 4.0 that I met back in my graduate, time, my graduate years, if I count on my fingers, very few are practicing. very few ended up succeeding. So if you can be a 4.0 because you do well, you perform out of your eager to learn. So those, yes, they are around. But those who just want to show up, they are not going to be around. So there's nothing that is perfect in academic life. You do your best. And when you do your best, you like it. And then you can do any better than that. Melinda? Consequence of this thinking pattern. First, poor time management, because you are threatened by what you're looking at, so you start putting other things in front of what you have to do while you're in school. Not counting on real things that you have to do while you're going to school. You're all adults again. You all have a life again. I'm sure that most of you have your family and, your kids and your commitment. So when we started putting that barrier in front of us and not understanding the meaning of things the way they are supposed to be, then the first thing that's going to suffer is your time management, because you procrastinate. So everything is going to be more important than that specific paper. Of course, I'm not saying that you guys are like that. I'm giving you a very general perspective of it. Okay, guys? Poor academic performance will be, another consequence, because if you're not working on your things, you're not going to, have good grades there. Okay? And a good number of students may end up dropping, the class, or some will drop school. Okay? Melinda? Can cognitive distortions be changed? Yes, guys. Can it be changed by you without seeing a therapist? Yes, guys. Now that you are a bit more aware, and if you want to read more about it, if you feel that you can use this information to better yourself, definitely you can do it on your own. Some people cannot, so they may need my help as a clinician. But the great majority of people, when you know about it, you start clicking and you start shifting, because you have the knowledge of what's going on with you. Melinda? How can we do that? Read yourself, physical and emotional knowledge. The better you know yourself, the easier it is for you to make changes. Okay? Identify the type of distortion. I gave you a list here very fast. We don't have the time to go, distortion by distortion. But there's so many information. There's a lot of information about that online, on your library. Okay, it's very easy. Psychologytoday.com is a link that's very serious, and they have excellent articles about a variety of topics in psychology, including, distortions that affect our lives. Okay, so try to write your thought immediately if this is the case, and if you feel you can understand that thinking is a bit distorted. Okay, try to link your thought with the situation that you are at and check for the reality of it. That's pretty much what you need to go for it. Check the reality of your thinking. Okay, am I afraid to compete with my present? Am I afraid to present and not do well? Is this what is really going on with me? Okay, so understand yourself. Relate your understanding with the situation that you are at, and explore the reality. What is the reality of that specific situation? Okay? Identify how you feel about it. Okay? When you're thinking about certain things. When this thinking is not as positive as you need it to be. Think positive. Forget about it. Just think positive. This is, for me, is denial. That's not reality. Sometimes there's no positivity in a situation. You cannot just go think positive about things. You need to explore the thinking according to the reality that you are at. And, okay. Change rules. How would you react to someone presenting an irrational thinking to a person you love? After all I said here, that would be a question. So how would you react with someone who tells, someone you love something that is distorted? You know what? Give up, man. I don't think you were made to be in college. Okay? What site is that? The site I'm talking about, it's psychologytoday.com. I'll write it. Can you write that for me, Melinda? Psychologytoday.com. www.psychologytoday.com. Okay, so if you see from the third person how you would react to someone saying this to a loved one, is an easy way for you to understand how really things are. That is the exploration that I want you to make with yourself when you are having distorted thinking, distorted cognitions. Melinda? How do you stop negative thinking? Okay, examine the evidence. What is real? What is the reality of that specific situation? What is the reality of what you are thinking? I usually give myself, and it's funny, and it's true, okay? Been doing this for a while now. I give myself 3 answers to this question. If I have a specific cognition, something that is bothering me, okay, well, I give myself 3 responses, and I explore these 3 responses. And automatically, your frame of mind, your thinking pattern tends to go to the more realistic, which makes you suffer less. So, but do you have to do that? Well, for me, it's autopilot because I've been doing this for over 15 years. It was not easy at the beginning. I would write it out, so I used to have a little yellow pad where when I was, anxious about something, I would explore, why am I anxious? What is the reality of this anxiety going on? I'm being a little bit academic here. It's not like I don't write like that, but I just find a way of writing my thinking to kind of be able to read and see the reality of it. Okay? Some of its parts, as you identify negative thinking patterns, you will tend to label them. For example, you are a failure. You cannot do it. How many times I told me, you know what, Katja, just give up. I don't think you can be in a graduate program. You don't have the quality to be here. Many times I have said that to me. Okay, but I didn't give up due to getting more to which I do for a living today. When I learned about cognitive behavioral theories and I started using it in myself, okay, that helped me very much accomplishing academically, because in reality, no, I was not that failure. I was not that bad student. I was not that bad student compared to those who had a 4.0 GPA. I want to have a 4-point GPA, but I can work in order to get myself better, not in order to compete to those with who had it. Okay, so I reframed my thinking. Easy said and done, Professor, yes, but practice makes perfect. So I did that practice in order to be where I am today. And skip generalization. Everything, everybody, always, never. When you do this, it's very easy for you to, how can I say that in English? Don't remember the word. When you generalize, it's easier to take the negative pattern of the situation, if you understand what I'm saying. That's okay, Tisha. Melinda? Avoid speculations, okay? Keep up with the reality of your struggle. I just said that here. No more shoulds. Should is the enemy of the good thinking. Oh, if I only did that, should I have done differently? No, you've done it. Can you go there and change? If you can, great. But if you cannot, You cannot. So we need to start moving from where we stopped, learning from the experience we had, okay? And cost benefit analysis. So right now you are intervening, before you do something, before you make a decision of drop, okay, that class, for example. Think about it. You paid for that. A lot of us have student loan that we're going to be paying down the road. So what is the cost benefit that I just quit, or I hang in there? And if I am late, you do, Tara? A lot of people do. I do sometimes. If I am late with an assignment, I usually tell my students, guys, the best way to flow in a class is communication. And I understand that you have a busy life. So if there is something that will keep you from being on time with your assignment, before giving up or turning it late, come to me and we talk about it. If it is worthy of an extension, I'll be the first one to give you an extension, because I'm not here to trick you. I'm here to go on this trip with you so you learn the information I have to present. Right there, okay, it's easy to analyze the cost and benefit of talking to me or just submitting an assignment late just because you did not finish on the day that you were supposed to finish. Well, Professor, some teachers are not like you. Yeah, I cannot speak for others, but I believe that the great majority of us want to communicate with you because we want you to succeed. We want you to perform well, and we want to take away that anxiety from you. There is always individual difference, but I feel that the great majority of us have been a student once, and we want you not to go through the road that we probably did and didn't do so well. You get that, guys? Okay, is it you, Katja, that we have reached out during school, or someone else? No, I'm just the presenter here. I think if I understood, I am the presenter telling you to go ahead and stick for yourself and try to see the situation as is. But I'm sure Purdue has resources that can help you, right, Melinda? Okay, great. Do we have one more? Okay, just the references where I took this information from, but this is a tiny bit from the whole library that we have there. Okay, question, guys. We have time still? Yes, we do. PG has lots of resources to help you guys. Will we have to access to this? Will we have to access to? I didn't understand, Susan. The question.
Yes, Susan, on the slide deck. Yeah, there'll be a takeaway right at the very end. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions about our topic tonight? I'm going to talk a little bit about some of these great resources we have at Purdue Global, but I want to make sure it's just the slides.
Oh, good question. Okay, good question, Tara. What is the best way to get back on track once you fall behind? It is so hard to catch back up. Well, right there, that is a distorted cognition. Can you prove that is so hard? You have to challenge your cognition about getting back on track. So the way you are presenting it to me, okay, is that you're already putting obstacles in front of you. It's very hard to get back on track. Okay, how far behind are you? What are the chances that you can, get in contact with your professor at this time, explaining why have you been behind? Is there any reason why, or are you just, being behind because you don't like to do things? I believe that if you are paying for your tuition and your tuition is very expensive, we know, you are falling behind for a reason. If that reason is explored with your professor, I'm sure you're going to get in a common place, the two of you. Yes, okay, but the extension is great. So you learn from your experience now. Right now, if you are totally behind and you cannot do anything in order to pass your class, well, it happened. So what do you learn from that without having to give up school? Because, this is what happens to a lot of students. So what can you learn from your experience now that's going to keep you from making the same decision that will take you to, falling behind in other classes? You understand what I'm saying? Who is this, Tara? Oh, okay, Daniel. What should be the amount of time per day to be online, not to fall behind? Well, I don't think you guys are asking me questions. You guys are asking me questions that's like, there is no specific number of everything. There is a realization of what is going on. So you are unique. Okay? 3 hours for one will help. 5 hours for another one will help. So I cannot give you a specific number. What I can give it to you are tools like, if you're feeling that you're falling behind, just sit, look what you have in front of you, and see what you can fix. Okay, I have students I have had. Do we have the time? Yes, Melinda, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have had students that, they are behind, and this was another university, and it was the policy of 4 days, and going a grade down, 1 grade down. And so I would have a student who would be behind. No, that's not a good example. I'm going to use Purdue. I believe they deduct 10% of your grade per week. Am I correct about that, guys? Am I correct, guys? Okay. So if you are behind a Unit 2 assignment and you are at Unit 3 assignment, what would you do first? Unit 3 assignment and submit it, and do Unit 2 assignment and take that 10%. So what happened is the students will just wait, and at the end of the term, I think it's 4 weeks, right, that you can be late with the submission. I'm not sure right now. So you wait too much, think about everything you can, besides having to submit yourself. I'm not talking about the actual, factors that go on in your life, but the way you're perceiving these factors, if you understand. To get back on track helps after start. That is correct. That's very correct. But your plan, needs to be concise. The more you think, the less you do. That's called thinking behavior. So if you are behind with your assignment, okay, draw that map in what you are behind and find a solution that will help you to get the best grade out of that problem and not giving up and going crazy about things. And this is the reason why the yellow pad is a good thing. Because when you are looking what's going on, it's easy to separate. Okay? Oh, a lot to read here. Okay, great study. Where Marina, I went through that last term. Part of what I'm changing is taking seminars like this one. I'm looking for the planner. Oh, okay, that's excellent. You don't need much, guys. You don't need much. When you start feeling that you are behind, stop and see what you can do. So is it easy? Okay, professor, I'm going to send you my Unit 3 assignment, which is already late. And then I'll send you my Unit 4 assignment, which is going to be late because I'm preparing Unit 3 assignment. What is more objective to do? Well, professor, let's do the following. I'll send you my Unit 3 assignment, and my Unit 2 that is late, I send you after because it is already late. If you don't have a reason why for that assignment to be late. Again, we're not dealing with high school students here. We are all adults again. And I'm sure that your tuition is expensive. And if you are falling behind, there may be a reason for that. Okay? Melinda, I want to transfer to you. I could be here to tomorrow, guys, talking about this. Okay?
Right, guys, all right. I wanted to let you know we've got a lot of resources to help you out with these things we've been talking tonight. I'm going to give you a copy of these slides when we're done, and all of these links that are included here will be active, so you can just click on them. But I'm also going to show you how to find the Academic Success Center and the Learning for Success Center. And I encourage you to come on by, because we've got a time management calculator that I think is a really great place to start with getting that reality of your situation. It's going to help you really be honest with yourself about how much time you have in your day, in your week, and that kind of thing. We've got some time management templates to help you kind of start punching in those little places where you're going to find that time to study and schedule it. So come on by the Learning for Success Center for sure. So I want to show you how to get there. So from your landing page here at Purdue campus, you can always find it right under My Studies. Just scroll down to the Academic Success Center. In all of your classes, you can also find us listed under the Help menu for the Academic Success Center. Once you come into the Academic Success Center, you can just click on Learning for Success. Those are going to be some of these more general resources to help you out with things like time management, study skills, reading comprehension. Some of that stuff you might need just to help get back on track, use your time most effectively, and help break some of those distortive habits and that thinking that might be holding you back. So look for the Learning for Success Center. We've got the resources I talked about, like that calculator and the time management templates. Look for this box with a little tomato in there. We've got a lot of good resources, some different strategies you can do, like the Pomodoro technique, which is really helpful if you're working through a long project where you just set a timer and make yourself work for a certain amount of time, and then take a break and come back and do more work and take a break. And that can be a really good way to get through some chapters of reading or working on a long project. So come check those out in the learning resources. We also have peer tutors that you can meet with. Peer tutors are awesome because they're students at Purdue Global, just like you. They've been here for several terms, long enough to show that they can be successful. They've figured out how to make the most of their time, how to navigate the assignments and the courses and the expectations and all of that. So you can drop in during our open hours, just look for someone with their light set to green, hit the knock on door button, and you can have a face-to-face chat with the tutor. They can share their screen with you. You can share your screen with them. It's just a really valuable chance to work through a lot of these things. And they're especially helpful, I think, with time management, helping you develop a schedule that's going to work, just for you, kind of really specific to your own responsibilities. So that can be really helpful. I wanted to take a minute to highlight some of our upcoming webinars. So this Thursday, we have a webinar on discussion board secrets. This is going to focus all on navigating the discussion boards, making your first post to those discussion boards, some helpful tips for doing your best on these assignments. Next week, Wednesday, we are going to be introducing PG 411. This is your Student Success Connection. It's a new space, Write in Bright space. Some of you might have used it already. It's our Academic Success Center, the same as you can find by going to those other ways, except for this is a connection to it that's right next to your classes, right in that same space where you're already going to class. So we hope this will be useful. So if you're interested in that, definitely come by Wednesday, March 16. And then at the end of the month, we're going to have a webinar on using Turnitin, which is a helpful tool, I think. And so just some good strategies for how you can use Turnitin to keep improving your writing and your academic assignments. So be sure to check that out. So let's see, last but not least, let me make sure that I share with you. First of all, here is a takeaway for tonight's webinar. This should have everything we went over tonight, all with those active links, so you can just click on them and get right to them. And then last but not least, I want to share a link to our exit survey. We're just trying to gather some information, especially about times of day that you guys like to have these webinars, topics in the future that might be helpful. So take some time to do that. Finally, thank you so much for making the time to be here tonight, to come to this webinar. Thank you, Katia, for presenting.
Thank you so much,
This was
Melinda.
fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.